Welcome back to the Comic Book Bullies for Nerds New Bully. Me host Leroy, aka Booger Sugar, with my co-host.
Yeah, this is Eli, aka EDub209.
There we go. Oh, I get that reference. I'm an old motherfucker too, so I get that
nerd.
reference. For those who don't know, that's RoboCop, but yeah. I want to say good morning to George R.R. Martin and George R.R. Martin only.
You saw that?
Yes, I saw that. This is a great way to close out Black History Month. So yeah, just want to let you know that you are not getting that Game of Thrones book. So you can forget that. He's gonna pop a dick pill and it is over. But we're just gonna jump into it and a bunch of other stuff. You know what? We're gonna do some house cleaning before we get into it. It's because there's something that happened last week. Eli actually posted on our Facebook page.
Oh yeah.
There's some okay numbers. Did okay. This thing right here. We talked about Ant-Man 3 last week. We talked about the King Council of Kings, and people are confused because they thought that was a Rick and Morty reference. I've never seen Rick and Morty. I don't know what that is, but apparently Rick and Morty does that.
There's a Council of Ricks. There's also a Council of Reeds. Like I know
about the Council of Reeds. That's Jonathan Hickman doing his Jonathan Hickman bullshit. There's a Council of Spider-Man now, also. But yeah,
everybody's got a council.
Everybody council now. Yeah, we got councils. Yeah, we cut off on this. But yeah, so everybody think that's a Rick and Morty reference. It's not a Rick and Morty reference. It's like decades before Rick and Morty. So yeah. So yeah, that's all I want to say. Last thing I want to say about that. Okay, this is personal. Just want to talk about it. Last few years ago, I think everybody remembers about the Equifax lawsuit that was going on, and people saying that they were doing something. So I signed up for it. I signed up for Equifax.
I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
It was a long time, like 3-4 years ago, something like that. It was a long time ago. But the thing is, my check came in. Yeah. Guess how much it was?
$2.
A little bit bigger, $5.21. So yeah, that's my big settlement check I got from this. So after this show, I'm going to go get some cocaine and hookers, and that $5 that is going to be gone. So yeah.
Hell yeah.
I don't know what kind of hookers you get with $5, but it is Jackson, but yeah. Vic, what's going on?
Vic's in the house.
Yeah, Vic is in the house. What's going on with you? So we're just gonna no more preliminaries. We're just gonna jump into it. Okay, so basically what this show is gonna be this week is that we watch some movies. Before we jump into it, Eli, is Megan on the movie you watched this week?
Pretty much.
Cool, no problem. So I'm gonna basically talk about a movie and go in length about it. Just talk about what I thought about it. Cocaine Bear.
You saw it?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw Cocaine Bear. Yeah, I saw it actually in a not packed theater, but a semi-active theater. So it wasn't just me by myself, like it's been like the last 3 years in movies. There's actually a nice sized crowd in there. So yeah, so I did talk about saw Cocaine Bear. We'll talk about it. Matter of fact, before we even talk about Cocaine Bear, I'm actually going to talk about the true story behind Cocaine Bear, because people don't know that it's a true story. Yeah, people don't even know it's a real movie. They think it's like some TikTok shit. Yes, it's a real movie. I went and saw it, and I will talk about it, review it, see what I thought about it. Before we get into it, though, Eli, I want you to. We're gonna do the old classic, the old trusty dusty. We're gonna pull it out the vault, the box office numbers. Give it to me. What is the number one movie of the week?
Did Cocaine Bear beat Disney?
It did not.
Oh, damn it!
But it was close. I'm going off the top of the head with this, but Ant-Man did 32 million and Cocaine Bear did 23. So not that bad. Although with all the marketing Cocaine Bear had, you think it would have made more money than that. However, here's the thing. Ant-Man Quantumania actually had the biggest second week drop off in any MCU movie ever. So
okay.
Yeah.
So it turns out it's not good.
That's what I was trying to tell you. It's the second week. The second week is everything. So yeah. Box office time. Jake, you missed it. We just did it, Jake. But yeah. So yeah. But here's the thing, that it was close because Friday Cocaine Bear actually beat Ant-Man. So that made people nervous. They were like, what's gonna happen? So yeah, it turns out Ant-Man's biggest enemy wasn't Kang the Conqueror. It was a bear on,
that knows cocaine. How to party.
Exactly. So ain't that the weirdest shit going on? So yeah, that's what's happening. So yeah, we're just gonna jump into it. Before we get into it, we're just gonna talk about the true story behind Cocaine Bear, because we do want to jump into it because the Cocaine Bear real life story is very different from the movie. However, the real story is just as insane as the movie, except it's different. So basically how the story starts off, like, and the thing is, like, the movie, I would say that like the first 10 minutes of the movie is the real story. Like, it's basically that they playing like real footage with Tom Brokaw and all the stuff like that. So they didn't CGI him. They ain't had the money for that. They basically told the real story with Tom Brokaw. Basically what it is like this crooked cop that quit the force and became an ex-drug dealer. He was flying from somewhere to Missouri. By the time he got to Atlanta, his plane was too heavy, so he dumped the cocaine in Atlanta in a park. And he actually jumped out the plane also. But the thing was, he was so high on cocaine himself that he opened the chute at the wrong time and fell to his death.
I was like, he was so high, he survived.
No. It wasn't like that movie Crank. Like, he just got up and just started running. So no, they didn't happen. So,
faster.
So no, they didn't happen. So yeah, so the cocaine fell in the woods and a bear ate the cocaine. But here's the thing. Here's where it varies. The bear overdosed on the cocaine about maybe like an hour later after ingesting it. That was it. Didn't go on a killing spree. Didn't go through the woods and ingesting. That's it. But here's where the story gets wild. That's not where it ends. Okay, so they found the bear. And the bear was in good enough condition that they stuffed the bear and stuck it in a mall.
Oh, Jesus.
So this is real. So this is a mall in Kentucky. And they named the bear Pablo Escobar. This is real. Although I do think that they sold the bear about last year, sometime like that. But up until then, the bear was in Kentucky Fun Mall. You could go there, see Cocaine Bear, take a picture with him, and that was it. He's like a tourist attraction there, or at least was. So yeah.
All right.
So that's the real story of Cocaine Bear. Of course, the movie goes a completely different direction, But yeah, but I just thought, and I was like, okay, that's weird as hell. And they said it's somewhere like Waylon Jennings bought it because Waylon Jennings was trying to buy drugs from the dude, and he kind of like knew the guy, but I don't know. That's all conjecture. That's all me making it up. But yeah. All right. So let's get to it. So let's talk about Cocaine Bear. What do I think about this movie? Okay. So the main thing about Cocaine Bear is it exactly what you think it is. Now, the reason I think that the movie didn't make as much money as I thought it was going to make is because the marketing was so good. I think the marketing was too good, because people thought the movie like it was a TikTok skit or a SNL skit, stuff like that. And at the end of the day, that's what the movie is. It's a 90-minute SNL skit. Now, keep in mind that that's the best thing about this movie. It's 90 minutes. It's not 3 hours. This ain't Cocaine Bear in game or no shit like that. It gets in, it gets out. That's it. So it gets to the point. So it's the runtime. It's got a 3-act structure. You get in, that's it. Like I said, the first 10 minutes is about the real life story of it. Then it diverts from there. Now, here's the thing where like I said, I had everything ready for you. Like, I was going to be like, this is cinema. This is, Oscar worthy. I was going to just go into it. This is going to kill the MCU.
Deep.
Exactly. I would, even though it wasn't, I was going to just say that shit, but I was just like, I can't. I got to be honest.
What cocaine is really about.
Exactly. Because they could have did all the stuff, but they didn't. So the first act of this movie, like first 30 minutes after they got through the real life cocaine shit, then you meet the characters, the people that the Cocaine Bear is going to eat later on anyway. And it's pretty much just random person, give them a quirk. Oh, this person juggles. This person favorite band is Flock of Seagulls or some shit. Just random shit that has nothing to do with the story. They just kind of just pad it out. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of movie in this movie, so they just got to just make up shit and pad it out, So, and the thing was, they were telling all these jokes and trying to be funny like that, and it wasn't funny. For the first act, it wasn't funny. I could feel the crowd. Like, I feel the energy of the crowd just like, okay, when's the movie gonna get good and shit? So it was like that at first. However, when you get to that second act, whoo boy, that second act, it goes. The movie starts cooking with grease at that point, firing on all cylinders. You got a coked out bear eating people, hunting for cocaine because the bear can sniff cocaine wherever it is. So if you get in the way of it and the cocaine, it's coming after your ass. And you got everybody in the woods. You got the drug dealers that lost cocaine in the woods. The cops looking for the drug dealers in the woods. You got a mom looking for her kids in the woods. You got random hoodlum teenagers in the woods, park rangers in the woods. So it's plenty of people for the bear to eat. and that's pretty much what they're there for, so it's that. I do want to know, like, you want to know how to compare to other horror movies and things like that. How was Ice Cube
horror movies?
That's what I was about to say. Okay, so you can't judge this by horror movie standards, Eli.
Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna be. It looked like a comedy.
That's exactly what it is. It's a dark comedy. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, the movie in the first act wasn't funny. However, in the second act, it was funny because of the killings. Because the way the killings were framed, and it was funny the way they was doing it. So you got half the people in the crowd was cringing because the gore was too much for them, and the other people was laughing because of the gore. So the gore made it funny because of the way the bear was killing people, and it was just enough gore,
over the top violence and shit.
It was over the top violence. It was basically like her Itchy and Scratchy cartoon, just all over the place, So but they didn't and then there was some gory moments in it, like not for you, Eli. Not your standards, For the casual crowd, some people said, for some people I was saying, they said the movie was a little bit too gory for them. They said some people had to look away. Me, I was laughing my ass off. Some parts in the movie they did kind of cut away before the bear got a little bit too crazy. Some parts they showed and it was just there, and you got the people looking at their dismembered parts like, oh, what the fuck, and it was funny the way they were doing it, But there was never a moment where it was like you feel scared or there's no tension, there's no suspense. It's even when the bear is sneaking up on people, you just laugh like, how is this bear sneaking up on people? It's high. That's how, So it's never a point where you're scared for anybody. You're just laughing your ass off at this people. You just want to know how this bear going to kill the next person in the most gruesome way possible. That's it. It's just like racking the kill count. So yes, it is a comedy first with horror elements, but don't go in this thinking it's a horror movie. It's not. It's a dark comedy. That's what it is.
It's all in the title.
It's all in the title. The movie is exactly what it is. It's not selling you a different movie than what it is. It's a bear on cocaine running around killing people and sniffing cocaine. That's what it is. Like I said, this is Ray Liotta's last movie. He plays a drug lord, a mobster, which is, a fitting way for Ray Liotta to go out. But that's what you expect, man. So, like I said, that second act, because it's about 20-25 minutes of that second act alone is worth it to see this movie. The first act, it gets a slog. Second act is there. And the second act is so good, you're going to be on a high, pun intended, by the time you get to the third act. So even though the third act isn't as strong, you're still amped up from that second act. You're just like, okay, let's see where this goes.
You got that bump and you're like, woo!
Exactly. I want an uncut version of the fucks. What? No. No, actually, no.
Somebody fucks the bear or the bear fucks them.
No. Can I give you a spoiler? I'm going to give you a spoiler. Vic, I'm going to give you a spoiler. Eli, I'm going to give you a spoiler. Jake, I'm going to give you a spoiler. Everybody spoiler. Okay. So the bear is female. That's okay. So the bear's not going to fuck anybody because the bear's female, And the bear has cubs.
Oh, shit.
Who are also on cocaine.
Well, now it's sad.
Exactly.
Now this movie's tragic.
It's actually not tragic because then the bear turns into mama bear. Because I think I got to spoil it for you. Okay, because the thing is, at the end of the movie, Ray Liotta turns out to be the bad guy, like the main bad guy of the movie. So in the third act, you're rooting for the bear, versus Ray Liotta.
Well, I was rooting for the bear anyway.
I mean, you'd be rooting for the bear anyway, but at the end of the movie, the bear is really the good person at the end of this movie. Like, you're rooting for the bear to, win at the end because Ray Liotta's such a piece of shit in the movie, Like I said, Ray Liotta, he plays mobsters very well, and he plays it very well in this movie. And everybody was good in the movie. Like I said, Ice Cube's son was good in the movie. Your boy, what's his name?
Han Solo.
Han Solo. He was good in the movie. Yeah, he was good. And the thing is, him and Ice Cube's son play like drug dealers, but drug dealers like with a heart of gold. They get in the car and they talking to each other like, man, how's your wife, man? How's your kids? So they make you feel sympathetic for these drug dealers, So I thought that was pretty cool, So, but they had a whole bunch of other subplots going on. She's like, man, hurry up and kill these people already, And
how is that one guy, the IKEA guy, that one IKEA dude, TikTok dude?
I feel like I gotta spoil it, man. He's killed off almost immediately.
Well, it looked like in the trailer, it looked like he died right away.
Yeah, he died right away. He's like barely in the movie. But the thing is, when he showed up immediately, like the crowd, like feel like, yeah, like people start clapping, like I guess people know him. Like they use him to just sell the movie, but he wasn't in it. He was basically just cannon fodder. They didn't even give him a backstory. I don't even think they gave him a name. He just shows up, get killed, boom, that's it. So, but his part in the movie was the part of that 20 minutes I was talking about. That's the best part of the movie. So yeah. So when he's in the movie, the movie like gets energetic, like fast paced, like it goes at that point right there. So yeah, the movie's found all cylinders. So yes, I would go see this movie. No, this is not the Citizen Kane of bear movies, or this is not going to win an Oscar. This is not real cinema. This is basically another trashy B movie that just happened to have good actors in it. Otherwise, if you had like nobody actors, this shit would be on Tubi, But it is a step up above, say, like Snakes on the Plane or Sharknado or
it sounds like movie. Sharknado with like a bigger budget, basically.
It is, yeah. And the bear is CGI, so yeah, so it's not a real bear. You can't get a real bear to do this shit anymore.
It sounds like a comedy, Yeah, it's a comedy, and we've talked about how comedies are kind of difficult these days. It's hard to make like a straight up comedy these days because people are afraid to laugh at shit.
And even this one is going to be tough because, like I said, it's the comedy comes from the gore, and it may be a little bit too much for some people, Yeah. But I was like, man, but the thing is, if you go to a movie about a bear hopped up on cocaine, you should be on board for the crazy shit that happens in this movie. I mean, you shouldn't be, oh, what is this? No, that's not Fonzie Bear, no shit like that. No, this is a damn bear. So yeah, pretty awesome. Overall, I'm gonna give the score of this movie 3.5 out of 5. I think I'm giving it a higher score than like other people are giving it to, just because I got a fucked up sense of humor. So I thought the shit was laughing. So I'm not. Although, do I wish the movie had more of a social commentary in it? Kind of. We don't laugh at bad talking to snakes on the plane, Leroy. Sorry, I just did. Sorry. Whereas Pitty complained about this movie. Well, the thing is, like I said, it's based on a true story, and it's a CGI bear, so it's not a real bear. Now, if it was a real bear, and I think there's scenes like a dude, maybe like stunt double. So it's not a real person, So there were no people hurt in this movie. Was about to say, oh yeah, do I wish the movie had like a social commentary? Like I said, this is a movie in the 80s about cocaine, or do we have a movie about Reaganomics and how they fueled the war on cocaine?
So this took place in the 80s?
It took place in the 80s, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, it took place in 1985. The guy that actually was too high and jumped out of his plane chute, like they named the guy. It was the same guy in real life. So all that shit happened, So they try to frame it like all this stuff happened, and it did take place in Atlanta in that same forest where it happened. So all this stuff happened. But yeah, do I wish it had more commentary? Like, okay, the drug is succumbed to, the bear succumbed to the drugs, just like, I don't know, like other communities or like the Nicaraguans coming forward and shit. Like, nah, it wasn't none of that. Reagan didn't show up. He didn't denounce drugs like that. It's just a straight up comedy. No wokeism, whatever you want to call it like that. It's just that. That's it. So, yeah. So 3.5 out of 5. I recommend it. But I will say this. If you want to wait, I have a feeling that it will be on Universal. I mean, it will be on Peacock next month.
That works for me.
I have a feeling. I have no no proof of this. I just have a strong feeling.
That seems to be what happens because I haven't been to a movie theater in months, and I've been just watching everything on Peacock, on whatever, Tubi or whatever. Shit just pops up.
And I think that's what's going to happen. I think when Cocaine Bear finally hits like streaming, I think it will become a cult classic. I think it will be. Yeah. It does have that feeling of, okay, this is going to be, hey, you've seen this movie. This movie's wild. It's going to be that type of movie.
It ain't like I don't like going to movies. No, I love going to the movies. I mean, before I moved, I lived like a mile from a movie theater. So I was like constantly, I saw everything. But now I moved and I just don't get a chance to, get out as much. And I haven't been able to go to the movies. And the closest movie theater is at least 15 minutes away now. So, so not as convenient for me to get out to the theaters as it was. But yeah. But no, I wanted this. This was like one of the movies I've been excited to see. I have not seen it yet, but yeah, I want to see it, and I'm sure eventually I will. Just like M3gan.
Right, because like I said, and honestly, I didn't say it last month or anything like that, like in January. But I had a feeling M3gan was going to hit streaming like very soon, and it did.
When you said that, I was like, ooh, and I was all week. I was like checking Peacock and You know.
Yeah, but I had a feeling like even January, I was like, I bet you Megan's gonna hit Peacock on February because Peacock owns you. I mean, Universal owns Peacock, so all of their movies hit Peacock. I'm seeing it's a trend. That's what's happening. And guess who makes Cocaine Bear? Universal. So it'll be on Peacock next month. I'm not gonna put a guarantee on it. I'm not gonna eat a cheeseburger.
It'll be the uncut version where the bear fucks.
It's a woman. It's a female bear. What, with a dildo or something? I don't know.
Well, we females can fuck too, right?
I guess. I don't know. I don't know the whole science behind that. Where's AK David when you need him? I'm pretty sure he'll know.
He'll know all about that.
Exactly. Well, actually,
the sexual anatomy of bears.
Well, the black bear, the grizzly bear,
their sex drive isn't as strong as, say, the Kodiak. Like,
oh well, but that's all I gotta say about that. Now we can move on to the next one. Cause like I said, you saw a movie and I saw a movie, and we didn't have to go into it. It was there. We're gonna talk about M3gan, but here's the thing: we're not just talking about M3gan. We're talking about M3gan, the uncut version, because if you remember, M3gan was rated PG-13 in the theaters. It was a PG-13 horror movie, but on Peacock, it's unrated. Now, I'll be honest with you. I haven't seen the PG-13 version at all. I was going to compare them. I didn't get a chance to do that. I just jumped straight to the unrated.
I'm like, deep, huh?
I was going to do that. Okay, so this scene, I ain't had time. I had other shit to do. Actually, I was watching the Lakers game today, but still, but I saw that and I was just like, let's jump to the unrated scene. But here's the thing, as far as what I thought about the unrated, I'm like, I can kind of see what they cut out. I can see it up front.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. But yeah, I mean, as far as unrated version, you can tell it's an unrated version because there's gore in it, there's F-bombs in it, it's there. The one where she what Jake, what the hell? No, M3gan doesn't fuck anybody in this.
Yeah,
it's a doll. It's
you thinking Megan Fox or whatever?
I guess. Although I do. Okay, Eli, did you pick up on this? That boy in the woods.
That was a little creepy. I did.
That was a little creepy.
I think I don't know if that's in the PG-13 version, but I watched the uncut version. I thought that was a little like it pushed it a little bit, which I didn't expect it. I wasn't expecting it to go there, because it is just sort of a campy, fluffy popcorn horror flick. And, but when it went there, I was like, oh shit, they're kind of pressing some buttons here. And
no. Not what M3gan did to the boy, what the boy did to M3gan.
No, I know what you're talking. When the boy got on top of M3gan, started taking off her shoe and shit. I'm like,
I was like, what?
Shit. What the fuck now?
Now, like I said, you're right. I don't know if that's in the PG-13 version or not, but that was like, okay, this is kind of disturbing.
Yeah, I thought that too. I was like, wow, they're kind of pushing it right here. Which like I said, the movie was very campy, and kind of dumb fun. But that scene was like, okay, I wasn't expecting that.
But at the same time, when stuff like that happen and the boy gets taken out, you don't feel bad.
No,
you're like,
he's
a piece of shit anyway.
That's kind of the point.
Yeah,
sick, twisted justice in horror flicks.
So that's the thing, because the thing about in horror movies, like the victim always has to be some kind of piece of shit. They drink when they're supposed to, smoke when they're supposed to, a cop, a nurse, whatever. People in uniforms always get off just for no reason. That's the rule. Yeah. So they did that in M3gan. And the thing about M3gan, like we got to talk about M3gan, just like Cocaine Bear wasn't a horror movie, it was a comedy with horror elements. I do feel like M3gan was more of a real movie, like actually trying to be a real movie, but at the same time, I do feel like it wasn't just a straight up horror movie either. That's my
no, because I was laughing my ass off.
Exactly, that's the thing. But it was funnier than Cocaine Bear. So between the two movies, between M3gan and Cocaine Bear, M3gan was the better movie.
Yeah,
because it was actually a real movie where Cocaine Bear was trying to be a B movie.
Yeah.
But M3gan actually had social commentary. It was actually trying to say something. It took those elements, the killer doll trope, and took the killer robot trope and combined them into one movie. I was like, okay, cool. So now, like I said, you're the horror guy, so I'm gonna defer to you on this. Was it a Chucky ripoff?
Kind of. I won't say a straight up like Child's Play, like the OG, where You know, he does a voodoo spell and goes into a doll and what have you. I think it has more in common with that Chucky remake that came out a few years ago, where Chucky was like an electronic
AI or something. Yeah.
AI, and he downloaded himself into the internet and all that shit and started taking over Tesla cars and drones. That I think it had more in common with that, you know.
And which she did that in this also.
Yeah, and then she did that. Yeah, it was more. I thought it was more kind of like sci-fi, you know, like robots. You know, like Isaac. I used to read a lot of Isaac Asimov.
iRobot, yeah.
And it sort of, you know, they were touching upon some of those elements of the 3 laws of robotics. You know, the robot can't do to harm to people and all that shit. So it reminded me of all that. But yeah, I felt it was more sci-fi than like sci-fi. There was more of it leaned into sci-fi, whereas Chucky, original Chucky, is all about slasher and it's voodoo spells
and it has supernatural elements,
satanic shit. Yeah, and yeah, so yeah, I didn't. Yes, you can read the Chucky shit into it, but I thought it was more of she was an actual robot.
Yeah, and it does make you, I ain't gonna say it makes you think, but okay, you try to compare them to Chucky and you try to compare M3gan also. Like I said, Chucky was clearly supernatural voodoo that's brought to life, but what brought M3gan to life? That's the question.
Well, that's the whole thing about, again, back to the AI and computers learning, you know, learning and becoming self-aware. That goes back to Skynet. That goes back to the Matrix. That goes back to Isaac Asimov, you know, and William Gibson, and you know, Blade Runner, you know, where the androids become self-aware and realize they have an expiration date and they want to know their meaning of existence. It gets into all this existential crap, but this movie didn't go that deep into that.
I do feel like it dipped its toe in the pool a little bit in that. But at like the end when M3gan was like you were playing with forces you can't even barely comprehend to make me and stuff, and it's like, okay, because it feels like whatever, it's not voodoo, but it's something.
Yeah,
you know,
it's just that existential robot sort of theme, like even Ultron sort of touched upon it. Like, what's my purpose? Why am I here? It's sort of in science fiction, robots are always a reflection of humanity. You know, the robot, you know, having meeting its builder, you know, that's sort of a representation of man meeting God and asking what's my purpose? Why am I here? What am I supposed to do? Blah, 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 blah. You know, and I think that was it was a little bit, and they kind of touched upon, they didn't lean into it. They didn't like become a main theme. What I think it was about, this was mostly about kids and technology, because I thought of M3gan as
it was like, really about that.
Like M3gan was like a cell phone for the little girl,
iPad or something like that.
Yeah, and when she got it taken away, she threw tantrums and shit. So it was more about how kids, you know, and technology, and where do you draw the line between, you know, the addiction to like social media and what have you, and you know, all that. That's what I felt it leaned into more than anything.
Right, or having like technology raise your kids, things like that.
Yeah.
That's all right. You're exactly right. That's all M3gan was. She was just technology like that. So and that's what the movie was trying to go for. It was like, because the aunt isn't paying attention to the daughter, she's like, well, I'm gonna just give her all these things, give her the iPad, give her the phone, give her M3gan, and let her just do whatever. That way I can do something that matters, you know, because she was a shitty parent, basically, you know. iRobot. Okay, I think we need to explain it. Eli, can you explain iRobot? We're not talking about the Will Smith movie.
But that was based on.
It was based, but not really. It was, but it wasn't.
It was based on a few of his books.
Yeah,
you know, it was based on a broad themes of Isaac Asimov's stories. You know, where it's a future. Robots are, you know, part of society, and there's the rules. Like every robot.
Three rules. I can't remember, you know, but what are they? A robot can't harm a human. A robot must protect a human at all times as long as it doesn't contradict with the first law. The third is a robot must protect its own existence as long as it doesn't contradict to the first 2 laws. Something like that. You know, it's like the prime directives in RoboCop. You know, right?
And it's just about, again, robots sort of becoming self-aware and learning human behavior and then sort of taking on human attributes and then sort of becoming confused.
Well, it's the ghost in the machine trope. That's what it is. The ghost in the machine trope.
Yeah. Or like what was that? Tom King Vision.
Tom King Vision, right? Where he made a family and souls like that. Yeah.
And basically questioned what is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of existence? And that's, like I said, robots are a reflection of humanity.
But we'll see M3gan, and to give M3gan credit, they go a little bit deeper than that because it's not just about the robots, it's about the toys also, pretty much any inanimate object. We can take it back to Pinocchio. It's the same thing. Like I said, the
real boy,
the real boy, yeah. And it wasn't that M3gan wanted to be a real person. She just wanted to. What did M3gan want?
Companionship.
But she didn't want that at the end.
I mean, she wanted existence. She wants more life, like the synthetics in Blade Runner.
Blade Runner. She was just trying to protect because they were trying to end it. Basically, they found out what she was. They were trying to take her out. Yeah. At that point, she was all about survival.
Yeah, that's what Hal did in 2001. Yeah, Hal basically took over the whole ship. It's like, nope, you're not turning me off. Same thing with Blade Runner. Those synthetics in Blade Runner, they wanted their expiration date was coming up. They were going to be turned off. They went back to Earth. I want more life, fucker.
Right? Because that is the prime directive of any living organism to survive.
Yeah. So
deep shit.
Yeah. And just like, I mean, I know everybody hates the Matrix sequels, but that's the purpose of Neo going to the source and meeting the architect. It's essentially him meeting God, him meeting whatever, the creator of the universe, the creator of existence. And then saying,
which why the first thing he asked him, why am I here?
Why am I here? What's the purpose of this? And that's, we can't really answer it, but that's essentially what a robot is doing. I
think it's the deepest dive I've seen in M3gan. We hadn't even really talked about M3gan. We talking about like around M3gan.
Yeah, we talked around, what brought it. I mean, I think because it's deep, it sort of brushes up on all these sci-fi tropes. I think that's what makes the movie a little, like, for me, it made it enjoyable because I recognized the tropes. And when she's like, started asking questions and some of the shit she's saying, she's like, uh-oh. Like, are you going to turn me off? You can't turn me off. Like, oh shit,
And see, the thing is, you can actually tell when M3gan was about to turn because, remember at the beginning of the movie when M3gan was telling the girl, wash your hands, put a coaster here, do that. But the more M3gan got upset with the aunt, she stopped telling her that. So when the girl put the coaster down, she didn't say shit because she was pissed off at her. So you could see her going down that road to begin with. I was like, it's like little bitty things. So
don't turn you're not. I control myself now. You don't tell me what to do. You don't turn me off. I'm the prime user. I mean, what's that Star Trek episode where Data?
You lost me on that.
Where Data was like they were trying to they had that hearing whether Data is a sentient being or is he just a machine.
Okay, I never saw that episode, but it sounded like
it's one of the Next Generations, and that's one of the most interesting. Don't shit. Hey, I love the Matrix. I love all the Matrix.
Not all of them, but are we getting TikTok Eli doing a mega dance? Oh, Jake, that was the next thing I was about to bring up. I'm gonna let Eli finish what he's about to say about Data being what is a man.
Yeah, but again, like it goes back to an existential crisis. The robot has an existential crisis over questioning its purpose. Why? What is it? What is the meaning of life? Which is
right. What is life?
Yeah, it gets into deep philosophical theology that humans tend to ask ourselves.
Like I said, I'm not a Star Trek watcher, but I imagine that Data, if his body get destroyed, he just upload his memory into another body and just keep it going. We can't do that. It's over with us.
But yeah, I mean, I think it had just enough tropes to remind you of all these other movies where robots go psycho and take over and shit, where that's what made this movie enjoyable. Because it was goofy, cheesy, campy, and funny. That's what it looked like from the trailer. The trailer looked cheesy. The movie was cheesy. I got exactly what I was expecting. And because I watched the uncut version, it had pretty solid gore too. So.
Right. So like I said, I'm gonna go back and watch the PG-13 version just to compare. But like I said, the R-rated version, it's an R-rated version. So.
And when she fought when the little girl got the robot, there was that robot fight.
I saw they coming a mile away. I said, because when they went into the room, I was like, "Where's Bruce? Where's Bruce?"
Yeah.
I knew
like
it was
M209 and RoboCop. And shit.
Right.
You know,
you didn't meet the last member of the family. I like, let's go.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. You know.
All right, let's talk about this dance. Okay, you talked about the TikTok dance. I'm working on it, Jake. I'll let you know when it's finished. But yeah,
I'll do the fucking the I'll do the biz, you know.
Right, because I'm thinking, Eli, that's what's going on right now. That dance, like in the context of the movie, made no fucking sense. Like, it just came out of nowhere. Yeah. But we know why it's there. Yeah. Because of Wednesday. That's why it's there. Because Wednesday did that damn dance. That dance went everywhere. People didn't even watch the Netflix show. They just saw that dance. There's like a million, you know, goth chicks and just regular chicks and even dudes on there doing the Wednesday dance like that. Well, so
that's the scene that stands out in the trailer. Like when the trailer dropped, everyone was talking about
that's the money shot. That's the money shot, right? Do the M3gan dance. I've seen it on talk shows. They will have like a M3gan cosplayer show up and just do that dance with Wednesday. I seen Wednesday and M3gan do the dance at the same time, like a dance off. I'm like, they really selling you on the dance because they know if that dance catches on, it's going to catch on TikTok, and TikTok will promote the movie. That's where we're going to promote these movies.
Yeah, M3gan just missed Halloween by a couple months. There would have been a bunch. They would have sold M3gan costumes. Would have sold like hotcakes.
It would have sold like crazy because they were promoting everywhere. So you would have had TikTok and M3gan at the same time. But I guess they didn't think it was a good enough movie to put out doing Halloween. So let's just dump it in January. But that's where we're going right now. Like social media is pretty much in control of these movies, right? Like I said, M3gan, they're dancing at just for TikTok. Cocaine Bear is a meme. It's all it is. It's a meme. They just know you put that out there. Cocaine Bear is going to trend on Twitter. Put out there, and that's it. They will sell the movie for us, and that's pretty much where we're going now. Any movie going forward is going to have to find some way to trend on social media, either TikTok or Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, or they'll have to do something. So you're going to see more wild dance like that. It's only a matter of time before a Marvel movie has a weird TikTok dance that they throw in the trailer. I'm talking about that dad dance that Star-Lord did. I'm talking about like a real choreographed shit, you know, that you can do on TikTok and do it like that. I don't know who
remember you remember when Baron Zemo, you know,
Baron Zemo, and I bet you that was an accident, but when they did it, they was just like, "Oh shit!" Baron Zemo is exactly what I'm talking about. But that's exactly what I'm talking about. They're gonna start doing that. I bet that's why they push back the Marvels right now. Cause they're like, we need a TikTok dance. Miss Marvel, make up some shit. So by the time the trailer comes out, she's gonna do some shit on there. So, yeah. But overall, I like M3gan.
Yeah, I had fun with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give M3gan a 4. It's a 4 for me.
Sure, I'll give it a 4. I mean,
because you made me bump. Just talking to you, it made me bump it up. So
yeah. It was exactly like what it looked like. Like, you know, it looked cheesy. It was cheesy. I had a good time. I had fun with it. I left my brain at the door, but it actually reminded me of better sci-fi movies. You know what I mean?
And the thing was, I feel like that even though it is a Chucky ripoff, it doesn't just like lean on that. Yeah, it's trying to say more than that. It's like. Okay, we'll take the bones of it, but we have more to say than that.
Yeah, and I remember when the trailer dropped, the Chucky TV season 2 was still on. Mm-hmm. So there was a bunch of like memes on, you know, on all the horror sites, all the horror pages. The horror community was dropping all these Chucky versus M3gan memes and shit. So it was always there. But
I feel like they can coexist. And you know what? My favorite part, somebody just posted something in here. Somebody just made a comment. What do you think the sequel's going to be? Okay, so at the end of the movie, M3gan's dead, all stuff like that, and they leave the house, stuff like that. And meanwhile, the Alexa or whatever the smart thing they were doing, it like turns his head, and that's how the movie cuts off. Mm-hmm. So that can be interpreted different ways. Like, did M3gan like download herself into Alexa?
Into the internet,
yeah. Or did Alexa become self-aware itself?
And that's Skynet.
It's Skynet, exactly. So you can interpret that different ways. We don't know, you know. But I like that because it did feel like an open-ended movie.
I wanted like what I was hoping, like if that Child's Play remake that came out a few years ago, where Chucky was a robot doll.
Mm-hmm.
If he downloaded himself into a bunch of dolls, like an army, that's what I've been waiting for, an army of Chucky.
Well, he did it on the TV show.
He did it on a TV show, but then the next season, the whole truck blew up and all those dolls were destroyed. Pretty much.
Yeah, he'd take over the world if he actually
but
did
that's
what he was trying to do.
I'm waiting for Gremlins.
You want the bad guy to win, basically.
Yeah, I want Gremlins with Chucky. That's what I've been waiting for. And I thought, that would be kind of cool if M3gan does that. If there's an army of M3gans.
Hashtag Chucky was right. Okay.
Yeah. And then she forms like Voltron, and then you got a kaiju M3gan. Oh God, then I would bust so many nuts. No.
M3gan v Chucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So what's the
Godzilla? Yeah.
Right. Just okay. So I guess move on to the next part of the podcast. Let's we're gonna move into the video game section. Okay.
Right.
And I'm gonna let Eli take over this.
What? I don't know. Why do you think I know about this shit?
Okay, so the thing we're gonna talk about Street Fighter 6 for a thing. And the reason I'm letting Eli talk about
Street Fighter last week.
I unbanned it just for this week. And then we're gonna reban it when we go back to it. Okay. So yeah, that's going on right now. So yeah, so the thing is with Street Fighter 6 is that even though I'm still up in the air whether or not I'm even gonna get this game or not. And I thought it was Eli, but I guess it was somebody else. I don't know who did it, but somebody posted that they was excited for the new Street Fighter character that's coming out.
I wonder if it was Fat T. Might have been
it was Fat T. It might have been Fat T. Might not have been Fat T. I don't know. If it was, I don't know.
T, if you're listening, did you post that shit?
Yeah, that's what I want. I don't know who posted it. I figured it was you, but somebody was hyped. They were like, hell yeah, we got a Native American Street Fighter against this. So just showing you, this is Lily. Lily is the new character in Street Fighter. They showed some gameplay of it. I'm not going to show it because I don't know how.
Wasn't she in the last game though?
She was not. This is a new character.
But wasn't there some like Mexican chick from the last game?
There was a big titty Afro-Brazilian in the last one, but that was it.
Okay.
Yeah. Not that one. And she's got some of T-Hawk's moves. Like she shows you moments. She does like the dive and she goes up stuff like that. I don't think she's a grappler like T-Hawk was like that. But here's the thing. Everybody keep talking about T-Hawk this and T-Hawk that. So like I said, that's T-Hawk. But T-Hawk was not the only Native American character in Street Fighter. There was another one before Lily. There was also Julia.
Really?
Julia, and she was also from T-Hawk's tribe. That's why T-Hawk came to Street Fighter to rescue her, because M. Bison got his human trafficking thing on. He had a bunch of female assassins from all over the world.
Where they come? The Thunderhawk tribe? Thunderfoot tribe. That sounds some made up bullshit. But
Julie. Her name is Julie. Because Julia is actually from Tekken, who is also a Native American character. She's
Julia.
Awesome.
Yeah, Julia there. Yeah. Julia.
But Julie's in Tekken.
Yeah. Did she have a mom too? Didn't Julia have a mom?
Yes, Michelle. But I don't think it was a mom. I think it was like her aunt or something like that. Yeah. But yeah.
They both had feathers, and that's how you can tell.
Lily has feathers also. Yeah. So I think you would be a fan, but she does like fun. She's like one of those speedy characters, you rush down, you get in and get out, stuff like that. So I thought this was
those gnarly looking war clubs, I gotta say.
I was saying she looks good, but I know what you're gonna say, Eli. She looks stereotypical, stuff like that. But here's the thing. I'm one of those people, like I said, I'm one of those people that any fighting game, I will play the black person. That's what I do, regardless of what they look like. If it's Injustice, I'm picking not Greenland and Hal Jordan, I'm picking Jon Stewart. I'm picking DJ in these games. I'm picking Balrog. And yes, Street Fighter also has a dude in the game who is the worst character in any of these games, that his special move is a basketball. So the thing is, he doesn't have a fireball. He only stops people with a basketball. That's how he stops people. So people think he's the shittiest person on the game because they don't know how to use the basketball. You got to shoot it just right. So yes.
I always like Sagat.
Well, he's fun. He's
here's some trivia. Sagat was played by Wes Studi in the movie.
Yes, he was.
Who's Native American? Yes.
Who's Native American? I'm glad you pointed that out. Okay. Yeah. So who go? Eddie Gordo. Okay, Eddie Gordo is the one black guy I don't play in a fighting game. The reason I don't play Eddie Gordo in a fighting game because everybody else plays Eddie Gordo in a fighting game. And plus, he's easy to beat. So if you get Eddie Gordo, I know how to beat you with Eddie Gordo. So yeah.
Well, yeah, you just jump.
No, that's how you die. That's how you die. Jump. But like I said, I'm versed in Tekken versus Street Fighter, best of things. So I tell you what, Eli, when the game comes out, since I don't know who was excited for Lily, but when the game comes out, if I get the game, I will play Lily, and I will beat ass with Lily.
Okay.
And I will do a combo video with Lily, and put Lily out there. I'll make Lily go viral.
On Streets of Rage, Floyd, he's Maori though. But
who's Floyd?
He's the big dude with the robot arms.
Oh, is that 3? No, that's 4. That's 4. That's 4. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't play 4. Okay.
He's Maori, who natives count them as.
But he's a robot. He's a cyborg.
Our indigenous cousins from another
MK Jax. Okay, here's the thing. MK, Mortal Kombat is my blind spot. I don't touch Mortal Kombat. I just don't. Sorry. So yeah. If I did play Mortal Kombat, I would play Jax, but I don't touch Mortal Kombat. So yeah. Let's see. Is a Street Fighter one of those games where you can smash on some buttons and win the fight? Oh, no, that's not that. That's
just talking shit.
Yeah. Tekken, you can do that to a point. To a point. When you first get the game, you can mash Tekken and win, but when you get to certain levels of Tekken, that should get you killed. So yeah, very quickly. So that's what I'm saying. So anytime anybody picks up Eddie Gordo, I can tell right there they suck. They can't play. So yeah.
Nightwolf on
MK11.
Mortal Kombat. You know.
Nightwolf is on there, and Nightwolf was in Mortal Kombat 2, the movie.
Yeah, played by not Littlefoot. What's his name? The rapper. He's a native rapper. Lightfoot. Yeah, he's a native rapper. The guy who played Nightwolf in the Mortal Kombat movie.
They talk. What's his face? The animalities.
The animality. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to find your inner animality. You know? Okay. And once he taught him that, he just disappeared from the movie. But yeah.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. So keep moving over to the next part of the podcast.
Sure.
All right. We're here. Let's go. Okay. Like I said, this is Comic Book Bullies, where we talk about comic books, and we're going to jump into it. Yes, I do have a retro book I'm going to do with a black superhero in it, but I'm going to save that for the end. Eli, I'm going to let you go first. See what you got.
Okay. Always going first. I only got 3 books. Should I do Nightwing?
Go for it. That's the money one right there. Yeah.
Well, you might need to help me with this because
I didn't read this one.
I don't know. I didn't know a lot of these motherfuckers. They're getting away from the
something's happened with Night. Oh, Teen Titans. Tom Taylor's writing Teen Titans. Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting away from the street shit and they're doing all this superhero.
Because they basically he's leading into his solo the team book.
Yeah.
So
So basically, Nightwing is taking over the Teen Titans.
My bad.
In the last issue, So it's the Teen Titans, but then now this calls back to some older stuff in the Nightwing run where in Tom Taylor's Nightwing run, where Blockbuster sold his soul's daughter to that demon guy in the other one. I forget his name. He's got blonde hair. I forget his name. Right?
Okay.
But he sold his soul so he can get power, blah, 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 blah. But then that demon guy wants her souls back or some shit. And he sends that king alien guy. He looks like Burger King. But he's an alien from not Latveria, but some other, I can't remember the fucking names. So yeah, I'm not well versed in cosmic DC very well. But anyways, and all that Dark Crisis shit, the old Teen Towers is in ruin. So Starfire's found the body of that king alien guy. And that of course attracts Waller, who's like, hey, this king is like from some alien nation who's, one of our allies, but why is his dead body underneath the rubble of a superhero headquarters? So Waller's there, to try to like damage control shit. And she sends one of the aliens from that king's planet to investigate. So at the end of the book, Nightwing and this alien who's in human form is examining this king guy's body, and that alien chick hits Nightwing over the head and then shapeshifts into Nightwing.
Okay.
So that's it. So if you can see here, there's Dick on the ground. Nightwing on the ground, and then there's the alien who transformed shapeshift into Dick, and then goes out and meets the rest of the Teen Titans. Let's go, Teen Titans! I'm Dick Grayson. So that's where it ends.
I don't know if I like Dick Grayson just being like a pilot for Teen Titans. I like Nightwing to do street shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, what the hell is this guy's name? So here, I'll get rid of that screen. I'll show you this guy. This guy. Like I said, he looks like the Burger King guy.
Did he say he related to anybody or?
What's the grinning man? They named his planet, and I can't remember it now.
Tamara?
Let's see.
With the T,
the king of Vlatava.
That it has something to do with Count Vertigo. Something to do with Count Vertigo. I know here your book.
Yeah, I don't know. I like I said, I wasn't familiar with any of that shit. So
okay. I think that's Count Vertigo's brother or some shit, but I thought Count Vertigo killed him already. But yeah, I know it's something to do with that. But yeah.
So yeah, that's what happened. So the alien knocked out Nightwing and then transformed himself, and then met up with the rest of the Teen Titans, and yeah. So that's where it ended. I don't know. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. Like I said, I like it. Yeah, like you said, I like Nightwing being street level crime shit. This is getting all weird, dealing with demons and aliens from other fucking worlds, and that look like Burger
Tom
King.
Taylor's getting his other book warmed up. So when you finally read that book, read Nightwing, blah blah blah, to catch up what happened. It's coming. So yeah. So so it's my turn. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Okay, so the next book, the first book I'm going to do is not Sins of Sinister, Immoral X-Men. I've heard some illiterate people out there saying Immortal X-Men because they think it's still the same book. To say new book, Immoral X-Men. Still part of that Sins of Sinister thing. I think it's part 3 or part 4. I don't know where it is, somewhere in the book. And we're still dealing with the fallout of what's going on here. Basically, this book is Emma Frost versus Mr. Sinister, but it's Emma Frost as Mr. Sinister versus Mr. Sinister. It's weird. I'll get to it. So let's catch up where we were. All right. So the book starts off with New York. It's been taken up by Mr. Sinister. Everything in town has a Mr. Sinister thing on it, and the only people left to fight him is S.H.I.E.L.D. So Nick Fury is putting together a team, and they're like, okay, we're going to upload this satellite into, the old X Mansion where they had their base at. If we do that, we'll get some more freedom fighters. We can take them out. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go to work. And one of the girls asks, okay, so do we go through the front door or we go through the window? And Nick Fury's just like, let's go through the window. And they jump out the window. And they fall to their death. The end. Why did they fall to their death? Because Professor X was controlling them. Professor X was controlling the whole time, and he told them to fall out the window and die. So yeah. So, but he's crying because I don't like using my powers like this. He realized that he could have achieved his dream, Xavier's dream, long time ago if he just would have forced people to do it, but he doesn't want to force people to do it. But now he kind of has to. And he kind of thinking, I wish Magneto was here so I could tell him that I was right and he was wrong, and Emma just like, look, will you quit moping over your boyfriend and let's get back to the Quiet Council because we got other shit to worry about. So they call the Quiet Council meeting and they do Quiet Council shit. That's what they're doing. They have to come up with a plan because they know that eventually going to get too strong that the aliens like the Shi'ar and the Skrulls and the Kree are going to come kick their ass. Man, they probably won't even kick their ass. They're probably going to just send a nuke to Earth and just nuke that shit and just be done with it. So they got to find a plan to do that, So Mr. Sinister, on the other hand, is out of the picture because since the Quiet Council can handle themselves, they don't need him anymore. So he's just got to figure out a plan. So what do I do next? I got to figure out. Oh, and they stole his thing in order to reset the timeline. So he don't know how to reset the timeline. So now he's stuck here and he don't know what to do. So he's got to find a way to get, the Quiet Council to trust him. but he only knows one way. If he does like a hard reset, like jab them with a needle and reset them, he can reboot their mind and make them under his control again. Because now the Quiet Council is no longer under his control. They kind of have their own mind and things like that. And they think they're above him. So he goes to take out the most powerful member of the Quiet Council, Emma Frost. And he like, if I can just jab a needle in her neck, I can get control of her and she'll help control the Quiet Council for me. He tries to jab a needle in her neck. Boom. Turns out she's in Diamond. But she was in Diamond the whole time. The reason she looked regular was because Mastermind, who she keeps chained up in her sex dungeon, basically makes her look like a human, even though she's been in Diamond Form the whole time. He was like, did I do the right job, mistress? She's like, no, you dog. Stay there till I come back and I'll whip you, And then Mr. Sinister runs off and shit like that. And basically, Emma Frost is like, okay, look, Mr. Sinister went to some places. I need all y'all to go to these places. Y'all go to Wakanda. Y'all go to France. And I'll go to the last place I think Mr. Sinister's going to be at, Westchester Mansion, like the old X Mansion. Like, there's no way he's dumb enough to be there, which is exactly where he is right now, So Emma Frost shows up with a whip or chain and just like, bow to your mother. So she's like really into some dominatrix shit in this book. So yeah, so she shows up with the whip and chain, and Mr. Sinister's just like, oh, Emma, I was ready for you the whole time. You shouldn't have came here to fight me by yourself. So he shoots her with a gun, like specifically designed to take out her diamond form, and like blows her arm off. She was like, blow my arm off? Oh, that's cute. Well, guess what? Just like you're a Sinister, I'm a Sinister. So I cloned some of Wolverine's DNA into myself. Voila, now she's got an arm. So you can't kill her that easy. So now they go to fighting again. He was like, oh, Miss Sinister's like, oh, you think it's that easy? Nah. And he calls in the Nasty Boys. The Nasty Boys was Mr. Sinister's group from the 90s, but he cloned them where they all have Cyclops' powers because he's some weird infatuation with Cyclops. Anyway, but so is Emma Frost. So she like, there's no Scott Summers on the planet that I can't have my way with. So they just start taking each other out, So now he's got to fight. So now the Nasty Boys are out of the picture, and Emma Frost just whips him, and she just like, you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and just kill you right now. We don't need you anymore, And Mr. Sinister just does his thing, like, no, you still need me. And then he clicks this thing, and basically what he's saying, like, I got more chimeras. Instead of having 2 mutant powers together, I can put 5 mutant powers together, and I make a whole bunch of them. That when the Shi'ar and the Kree and the Skrulls come for us, you'll have your army to beat them. So you still need me, because if you don't, the Kree are going to put you under your heels, just like you're under my heel, like I'm under your heel right now. And she's just like, that's a good idea. But I just got one thing, but you got to make me a promise for one thing, Mr. Sinister, that won't let you live. Big like a dog. And she's like, yes, mistress. No, call me mother. She's like, yes. She's like, good boy. And she's like, okay, well, let's talk to the Quiet Council and let's see what you think. And they're like, okay, for the time being, let's let him live until we can take out the Kree and the Skrulls or like that, and then we'll kill him. But for now, we kind of need him alive. They're like, okay. And that's the book. To be continued. So yeah. And he's just alive in front of all the dead Nasty Boys. So yeah. I'm digging this crossover. I am. Even though it's just Age of Apocalypse redone. It's Age of Sinister, but it's still fun. It's an in-continuity story, inconsequential. The whole thing's going to be reset, but I'm having fun with what they're doing with it. So yeah, I like it. Vic, I like it too. Yeah.
Cool.
But where is Dr. Doom in the story? You think he'd show up? But yeah. Do y'all review? Oh, do we? Do we, Eli?
We might as well do it now.
Go for it.
The request.
We have a request.
We have a request. So Keith, this is for you.
On the fly. We're just doing it on the fly just because you asked for it. Yeah.
Let me grab that. So yeah, I'll do Earthdivers #2. This is an indie book. Stephen Graham Jones, indigenous writer who writes horror books. And yes, Jake, I read Don't Fear the Reaper. I have a review coming out in the next couple days. I wrote a review on that book for the website that I write for. That it should be posted in the next couple days. So, and I'm wearing the shirt, but I'll get into that later. So, Earthdivers #5, right? Yeah, Earthdivers #5. So, indigenous horror author Stephen Graham Jones. This is his comic book about a future Earth that's been fucked up, climate change, It's a dead planet. All the white folks flew to Mars or wherever. They all left the planet because it's a dying planet. Only the natives are left alive on this Earth, this dead planet. Well, they discover a cave that's like a time portal, and they decide to go back in time and kill Christopher Columbus because the colonizations of the Americas is what led to the world's downfall. So one of them goes back in time, becomes like a crewmate on the ships as Columbus is sailing across the Atlantic, and he's trying to sabotage the mission. He's been found out throughout this, like I said, this is issue 5. He's been found out. They've been beating him, torturing him, sort of kept him prisoner because they know he's a saboteur, But in this issue, he finally goes ham. I've been waiting for him to fucking finally like lose it. Well, that's what he does. He kills like all the. I think he's on the Nina or the Pinta. He's on one of Columbus's ships, and one night he escapes his cabin and just kills all the crew and hangs their bodies. As you can see, that's the one of Columbus's ships, and all the crew are all hanging, gutted and hanged. And this is what this page. Leatherface is one of them. Cuts off one of the guys' face, and he's like, "Fuck you, fuck what you did to my people, fuck all that shit what you did to the world." Yeah, I love that scene. There's other side plots going on about what's going on in the future. Everyone who's left alive in the future, they're wondering if this guy is actually succeeding in his mission because nothing's changed in his future. So there's all that going on, but I didn't give a shit. It was all about Tad, the main character, shanking all these Columbus's soldiers or sailors and and stringing their bodies up. So just for that, 5 out of 5. Yeah, Keith. Yeah. The first issue he's a linguist. So he had to learn like Italian and Portuguese, and he studied Columbus's log journals and knew every detail about the voyage and stuff like that. So he was able to tell when certain falling stars happened on what dates and stuff like that. So they thought of him. So some of the crew were thinking of him like he was like a demon or he was in cahoots with the devil and shit like that. And I've heard, according to Bloody Disgusting or Dread Central, one of those horror websites said that they are developing this series into like either a movie or a TV show. So that'll be cool.
Did it say movie or what site might be interested in a movie?
Yeah, company? I don't know. It'll be cool because once they cancel Reservation Dogs next year, I shouldn't jinx it. But
hell, you had this scene in a movie. I mean, you're there.
Yeah,
this the money shot right here. So
yeah. So yeah, this is the best issue so far in this series. I'm enjoying it. I'm a big fan of Stephen Graham Jones. I've read a bunch of his books. I just read his new slasher novel called Don't Fear the Reaper. It's the second story in a slasher trilogy. The first one was called My Heart is a Chainsaw, which introduces us to Jay Daniels, the Native American final girl. And yeah, I really dug on it. I thought the new book was more of a slow burn because it went into the emotional trauma because everyone's dealing with the shit that happened in the first book. But there was still some pretty solid kills, and I dug on it. But I have a review. I write for a Tribe Called Geek. I wrote a review over the weekend of the novel, and it should be. I should be posting it. It should be posted in the next couple of days. So, yeah. But other than that, still digging on Earthdivers. I think there's one more issue to go. So.
One more issue to go. Okay. So, did they say anything about like another arc or?
I'm not sure. Not sure if this is an ongoing. But.
Okay, no problem. All right. Yeah. Okay. So up on me next. Okay. So what I'm going to do is Superman #1. Now the thing is, if you haven't read any Superman books, you don't have to. This is a fresh start.
It's number one.
It's number one, and I know a lot of times they say number one. Do you have to know anything about it? No. This is just Superman being Superman. So as long as you know Superman, You're good. You don't have to know anything that happened. You don't have to know about the World War saga and all this stuff like
Dark
that.
Crisis. I didn't read any of Dark Crisis.
You don't have to know any of that stuff. This is just
I didn't
Superman.
read any of it, and I just read this, and I was fine.
You don't have to read Action Comics with all the Superman family, all this stuff.
Yeah, it's like a super family in that book.
Yeah, it's Superman. Since basically there's 2 Superman books right now. Superman 1 is Superman is Superman, but Action Comics is a super family. It's about all of them, you know.
Yeah.
But like I said, this is Superman. So let's just get into it, talk about it. So what we have here is Superman doing Superman stuff. Let's see. Let's go to it one more time. Okay, there you go. You got Superman doing Superman stuff, and it's basically a Superman book. So let's just get to it, see what's going on with Newton Superman. So don't care about that. Let's go to it. We got this big splash page. Yeah, crack-a-coon, you know. Oh, Jamal Campbell is the artist. I love Jamal Campbell. Technically, Black History Month. They got a black artist doing Superman, so that's pretty awesome.
Hey,
you know.
That's cool. Yeah.
This is ain't got to do Naomi, the comic, not the TV show.
Okay.
But yeah. And it, you know, the whole thing. Matter of fact, they give you all of Superman's backstory right here. Krypton blew up. Kent. He meets Lex Luthor. Goes to Smallville. Meets Pete Ross. All that. So he meets family. And he goes, "I got you," and that's when you got them. Yeah, but who's got you? You know, so that's the old Lois Lane callback, you know, from the Superman movie. If you see the Superman movie, they say that a bunch of times. So who is this character? This is Livewire. Livewire is not an original character. She was created on the cartoon, the Superman the animated series. So she's like another Harley Quinn carryover, you know. But ever since then, she's been a Superman villain. So she basically does Superman villain. So why is she doing evil supervillain shit right now? Because if you know Livewire's backstory in the cartoon, in the 90s, she was a shock jock that got fired because her show was too raunchy. So now she's a podcaster. That's what she is in this show. But her podcast was too raunchy then. So she got canceled. Not only the show got canceled, she got canceled. Because that's what happens, you know. So basically, she's going after her old boss who took her show down, and he's on his wedding day. So they just, while they're talking, they just see Superman and Livewire just fighting in the background. And meanwhile, somebody's in Superman's ear talking to him, and we find out it's Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is talking to him, saying like, "Man, why don't you just like break her arm and just take her out like super quick? You know, don't worry about saving people. They're smart enough to just run off by themselves." While Lex Luthor is still in jail right now. And I do like, oh, they don't show it. I can't show his badge right there, but his name tag like that doesn't say L Luthor, it says A Luthor. And I like that little callback because his name is Alexander Joseph Luthor, because he was named as Alexander the Great. Lex is just his, you know, nickname. Meanwhile, he's on the news looking at everything that's going on, still talking. He's like, "Man, just beat her ass, drown her." Just that's when Livewire is like, "You can't cancel me," you know. I like that shit. And anyway, Superman beats her ass. Superman actually beats her ass off panel. We don't even know how he beats her. He just beats her. So we meet the new guy, the new head of the Metropolis Crimes Unit, who is Neo Kakoa. And he's over there. He basically says, "I'm taking over for Maggie Sawyer." So this is what I was going to ask you about this, Eli. In the Nightwing books, is there a character named Maggie Sawyer in the books you read now?
I don't remember.
Okay, because they say that's where Maggie is. They say Maggie's in Bloodhaven right now. So I'm just like, okay, yeah. Maggie Sawyer. She's a cop, you know, that was in Metropolis, but she's left the books. Now this guy is basically
perhaps. I mean, I don't pay attention to cops.
Either way, Maggie Sawyer doesn't matter.
I feel better when cops aren't around.
Oh man. So anyway, the new chief of police basically tells Superman, "Look, I've been looking to do super work with you for a while." And while he's talking, Superman's ignoring him because he hears the people in the back, you know, the wedding couple. Is it like, Livewire trashed our wedding? Everybody's left. Should we cancel? And Superman's like, "Hold up, this is a job for Superman." And he takes off, and what he does, he marries them. I'm gonna see if I can't blow up the picture, but he marries them. He's hangs out with the groom. He actually parties with them. He lets the groom beat him in an arm wrestling match, and then he takes their car and flies it off in the sunset. You know, and who's typing all this up? Clark Kent. You know, and he's listening to music. We don't know what music he listened to, but we do know that it's a mixtape made by Pete Ross, and he's listened to a mini disc player. They don't even make those anymore. But whatever. Anyway, you got Jimmy Olsen basically saying, I need you. Now, basically saying, don't worry about being late on a deadline. The new boss not going to be mad at you. And that's when we find out the new boss is going to be mad at him because the new boss is his wife, Lois Lane, editor-in-chief. Perry White went somewhere and Lois Lane took over because if she don't take over, somebody else is going to take over and they're not going to run the planet the way it's supposed to be run. So she's the next person in charge. So she takes it. So she does it. Meanwhile, Lex Luthor is still in Clark Kent's ears, just telling him it's been 7 minutes since Superman hasn't been seen. Where are you, Superman? You need to be saving people. And he's just like, I need to go. And basically, that's why he's got the headphones on. He has the headphones on to tune out Lex Luthor while he's listening to music. And he's basically saying that, look, the way my super hearing works is that it's tuned to certain people. My parents, you, Batman, and Lex Luthor. So I can hear them at all times. So that's the reason he can hear Lex Luthor all the way in jail, because he's tuned into Lex. So Lex can't hear him, but he knows he can hear him. So basically, he's just looking like, I just need a break. I think maybe Lex Luthor is trying to help out, and maybe I need to listen to him. But that's when some weird shit happened. They're like, hey, something's going on in the sky over there. And Superman takes off. And that's it. I just like the panel with him headphones, shit like that. That's a cool ass panel. He goes over to LexCorp, and what's happened to LexCorp? There's some weird nanites that are taking over building something, and it builds a super emblem on top of LexCorp. Why does it does that? Because not Macy Graves. What's her name? Mercy. Yeah. I think it was an R&B singer.
Macy Gray.
Macy Gray. That's who it was. Not Macy Gray. Mercy Gray. She doesn't sing any R&B like that. But yeah, so Marcy.
Wasn't she in Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man?
She was in, and that was the last thing she did. That was an awesome man song. He hadn't done anything since then. Anyway, let's talk about Mercy. Not Marcy. Not Macy. Mercy. Mercy Graves is also originated from that cartoon. So there's a lot of callbacks to the cartoon. She's not original comic book character, but she was migrated to the comics later on, And basically, Superman's like, what the hell are you doing, Mercy? And she's like, look, Lex Luthor gave you control of LexCorp. And he's like, I don't want control of LexCorp. He's like, well, hold on, before you do that, he just gives a sales pitch why you need to take control of LexCorp. And basically saying you got your own, basically the army that Lex Luthor had to kill you, they not work for you now. And also another callback to the Superman TV show is that little kryptonite proof armor he had, the Justice Lord suit. Oh, it's like a little. Oh, and the Supermobile. That's not from the TV show. That's actually a thing back in the 70s when Mattel wanted Superman to have his own car. That's what that's from. So yeah, all little Easter eggs and callback stuff like that. He basically say all these people work for you, Superman. That's it. Like they don't need to work for me. They can just work for themselves. And they're basically saying, well, see, they can't do that because the way the lawyers are set up, if you don't take over LexCorp, LexCorp will be dissolved. And everybody that works for LexCorp will be out of work. Do you know how many people works for LexCorp? Half of Metropolis. So if you don't take the job, the economy of Metropolis will collapse. And he was like, man, fuck you, Luthor. So yeah, Lex Luthor got him again, So he's just like, all right, so what else do you have for me? So not only that, Lex Luthor decides to train Superman by making a hologram that looks like Superman's father and keeps calling him son. And that's when Superman's like, I'm done with this shit. Well, I'm going to talk to Lex Luthor right now. I'm going to have this out. So he goes there, and that's when Mercy is just like, he's on his way. And Lex was like, he'll never make it to me. Because he knows he's going to get stopped by Parasite. So Parasite is attacking his bus for no reason, just attacking people. Superman takes the bus and he fights Parasite. Lex Luthor's in his ear telling him, you can't touch Parasite. Parasite would drain your powers. He's like, yeah, I know. So, but he was like, but I got this gun back at LexCorp that if you use it on Parasite, it'll drain his powers. It may kill him, but who cares? So Parasite is going at him. Superman does like a Hulk stomp, smash him in the woods, goes to him. He's just like, don't worry, we'll save you. But at the same time, it's like Lex Luthor didn't do this to me. Somebody else did it to me. And it's a whole bunch of other parasites in the woods, and they all grab him at the same time. And Lex trying to tell you, Superman, it's not me that's after you. It's my enemy that's after you. And that's when we cut to this guy also listen to music and know there's not Superman getting cut up, that it was Bizarro, because I had to zoom in. He has a backward S on his chest, so it's Bizarro. So yeah, so he's creating Bizarro, but even on, I can't show you, but if you look at the screen, you have Livewire chained up. You got Silver Banshee right there, Toyman, but the cartoon design of Toyman is there. So whoever made this comic, well, Josh Williams made it. He's taking all the elements from the TV show, from the cartoon. Matter of fact, these are the villains he fought on the TV show. Parasite and Livewire had a team up on there where they fought Superman. Bizarro was on there, and I don't know who this guy is, but yeah, that's what's going on. So long talk, but yeah, that's what's going on right now. So basically, Lex Luthor and Superman have a common enemy. Who is it? We don't know. Yeah, that's a book. Dude. Yeah, that dude. So overall, this is a strong start. You're not reinventing the wheel. You're not doing crazy shit. Superman's not in War World fighting Thanos and Darkseid like that. It's just Superman doing Superman shit. It's simple. This is all you have to do.
Yeah.
I don't know why DC makes it so hard. Just do this. So, yeah.
Rogolzar.
Right. Like, what the fuck? Jor-El comes back. Krypton's back. Like, don't do all that weird shit, man. Just do this. It's simple. Superman is not supposed to be a complicated character. So,
yeah.
I don't know. But yeah. So, so what you got?
Well, my last book is Yoda, number 4.
Let's do it.
So, yeah. Yoda.
Last book already?
Yeah. Well, I read that Superman book, and then I did my other 2. And now this one, so yeah, this is that Yoda series.
TMNT, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That's still on?
I'm not. Yeah, I didn't read that. I'm like, I aged out of the Power Rangers. I'm old, yo. I was like, yeah, I
like you know the Turtles, but you don't know the Power Rangers.
I don't know the Turtles, but I don't know the Power Rangers very well. I'm old, but I am looking forward to that other crossover. What is it? Street Fighter versus. Is it Turtles? Is it Turtles versus Street Fighter?
You reading it?
Yeah, I am.
I feel like I should, but the thing is, Street Fighter storyline sucks, so I don't really feel like doing it. I like playing the game. I don't really care about the storyline, but I may end up reading it anyway. So you won't.
Really? You don't want to see Splinter versus Blanca? You know?
we'll do a thing. I'll read it. I feel like I'm obligated to read it. So yeah.
Yeah. So this is the Yoda book. See, I'm old. I'm reading Yoda. Yeah. 1,000 years old, this motherfucker. Yoda, it's his solo series. It's just Yoda kind of on Dagobah reminiscing about his life and times and different adventures he's got in. This is sort of the start of a new story arc involving Count Dooku when Count Dooku was Yoda's master or Yoda's knight or whatever.
Okay.
A young Count Dooku.
How young? Not youngling Count Dooku, is he?
No, he's an adult.
Okay.
A younger Count Dooku.
Okay.
And just them. They're in class. They're teaching a bunch of younglings and shit. Excuse me. And basically Yoda's asking Dooku for, hey, check out these younglings, and would you like to give them any sort of advice in their lightsaber duels and stuff? And he's giving them lightsaber duel pointers and shit during class. And of course the kids are like, now you guys, let's see what you guys can do. So then Yoda and Dooku have a sparring match during class, and everyone's like, oh, cool. So that's like remember we saw them duel in Attack of the Clones. So that's like probably one of the first times they ever dueled. So yeah, Yoda and Dooku sort of have a sparring match, and all the kids are like, did you see what he did? Dooku was dope. He almost beat Yoda, but they're like, yeah, but Yoda knew what he was doing, and blah, blah, blah. So they're all like, impressed with, the duel between Yoda and Dooku. But the Wookiee youngling, he's having visions. He's like meditating, and he has these visions, and I think he can see like the Clone Wars, because he sees like the Wookiees and Yoda fighting, and he sees all this other shit going on, and he's kind of troubled by it. And then Dooku is like talking to that Wookiee kid, and he's like, the Wookiee tells him, yeah, I've been having these like dreams and blah, 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 blah. And Dooku's like, well, don't let anybody, know about your vision, because the Jedi don't seem to, they don't look kindly on visions. because there's a conversation about Cypher Diaz. You remember Cypher Diaz?
Did they ever say who Cypher Diaz was?
He
I
was
remember the name, but
he was one of Dooku's friends, or was he like one of Dooku's friends? Was it his Padawan, maybe? But Dooku
they never said.
Yeah, they mentioned that Dooku and Cypher Diaz were friends, and that Cypher Diaz had visions, and that's why the Jedi sort of shipped him out somewhere, because they think that psychics and visions lead to like them worrying and fear. They're worrying about things that are going to happen, and it kind of like breaks their concentration with the Force. They don't like Jedi's dwelling upon their visions, because then they might try to prevent them, which is what happened to Anakin. So when this Wookiee kid tells Dooku, "Yo, I'm having these dreams about all this war and shit," Dooku basically tells him, "Don't tell anybody, especially Yoda." So that's kind of where the book ends. So I thought it was pretty cool. Young Dooku and Yoda and these Jedi kids, these little Padawans, like all excited about lightsabers and shit. Did you watch? There's that Tales of the Jedi on Disney Plus. I thought it was pretty cool. It's got story arcs with young Dooku and that. When Dooku and Qui-Gon Jinn were
when they were trained.
When they were, because Qui-Gon was Dooku's Padawan. So pretty cool shit. And it sort of kind of showcases Dooku's sort of becoming disparaged with the his mistrust in the Jedi.
Which is why he left. Yeah.
Which is why he left. Yeah. So
I do like the theory they were saying that if Qui-Gon was still alive, he probably would have joined Dooku.
Yeah, because Qui-Gon was like a rebel. Like he
wasn't really feeling the Jedi either.
Yeah, he was always breaking the rules too.
Yeah. So I kind of
I dig on this. It's a 4 out of 5. I've been digging on this story.
Cool. Okay. All right, so last book I'm going to do, like I said, it's going to be a retro book. What I've been doing this week, well, this month, like I said, where is it? Retro. There you go. Okay, so what I've been doing this whole month is that I've been doing like one retro black book a week, and basically talking about a black superhero or black supervillain, whichever one, just saying what they're saying. So what we're going to do this week, let me see if I can get that up. That's what she said. Let's see if I can get this up. So what we're gonna do, since we were doing like an Ant-Man, I was gonna do this book last week, but I think I did something else. I don't remember what I did last week.
You did fucking Kang, Ramatut or whatever.
Oh yeah, I did do Ramatut. Okay, I did do Ramatut. So this week I was gonna do like an Ant-Man thing, but this week we're gonna do Goliath. Now, I'm sorry, not Goliath, Black Goliath. That's the difference. So if you remember, a lot of people watched Ant-Man and Wasp, and they saw Lawrence Fishburne show up in the movie. They're like, why the fuck is Lawrence Fishburne in this movie? The reason Lawrence Fishburne is in this movie, because in the comics, he's actually a black superhero. Although he was killed off in Civil War, which is really the only notable thing he did in Marvel Comics, which is why nobody cares about him. But we're going to talk about his first appearance. Talk about his first appearance in an actual Luke Cage comic. And why is he in this comic? Because Luke Cage slept with his wife. And that's why they're fighting.
Man.
They had coffee. All right, let's get to it. So so the debut of Black Goliath. Okay. So the book starts off with these okay, so they're in California. Like I said, Luke Cage is in Harlem. He's based in Harlem, but he's in California right now, and he goes to the circus and he sees like I said, among us walks Black Goliath, and he sees the trapeze artists, and the thing is, it's raining and it's windy outside, and these trapeze artists decide to do the act anyway, and what happens? They slip and fall. So while they slip and fall, Luke Cage, and the trapeze snaps also. So Luke Cage jumps up there, grabs the guy, and since he's like 300 pounds, he's heavy enough that he can kind of tilt the tent tilt the pole into a net, which saves the trapeze artist's life. So they fall. And the trapeze artist, his brother, his partner trapeze artist, they're like, well, thank you, Luke Cage. We got to get the hell up out of here. Meanwhile, Luke Cage is with his buddy, his sidekick back in the 70s, D.W. Griffin. Now, I always wonder why the hell was this guy named D.W. Griffin?
Because what the fuck, man?
I don't. For those who don't know who D.W. Griffin is, D.W. Griffin is the Hollywood's very first director. He directed The Birth of a Nation, which is to this day used as recruitment for the Ku Klux Klan. Yeah. So,
but because it was the first full-length movie, basically full-length feature. You know,
a Klan movie. That's what it's about. Yeah,
where the Ku Klux Klan are heroes and shit. Yeah,
right. And that's who they decided to name this character after. And he teaming up with Luke Cage. What? Okay. Anyway.
Ebony and Ivory.
Yeah, going back there anyway. So these two trapeze artists, the reason he told his brother, he was like, well, why don't we thank Luke Cage? Why we gotta hit? Nah, we gotta get back to the capo, man, because we just fought Daredevil about a month ago, so we gotta get out of here because we can't have no superheroes around our business. So we found out who these guys are later on in the book, you know. Meanwhile, the reason Luke Cage is here is because his girlfriend Claire Temple ran away, sent him a Dear John letter or a Dear Luke Cage letter, and she left Harlem and went to California. But she left her like address from the hotel she was staying at on there. So he was like, well, she must want me to know where she's at, so let's go to California and find her. And when he goes to the hotel, the hotel tells him that yeah, she's been hanging out at this circus the whole time. So he goes there, sees his girlfriend Claire, and she's just like, Claire, why the hell did you leave me and come to California to this circus? You know, they hug and miss and stuff like that. And she's like, okay, yes.
To beg and plead.
Right. You had to drive 30 hours to go see your girlfriend like that. And she basically telling, okay, there's a good reason why I'm here in California and why I didn't want you to come to New York. I came to California to be with my husband. And he's like, wait, you married? What? Yeah. He didn't know she was married the whole time. You know. Yeah. Yeah, so he's like, well, fuck this, I'm out of here. Yo, you have congratulations, you and your husband. He's like, no, it ain't what you think. It ain't that. See, my husband is Bill Foster. Bill Foster was the same name of the character in Ant-Man and the Wasp, Lawrence Fishburne play. He was like, yeah, that's my husband, but we're divorced. Now, can you remember, this was in 1974. Divorce was an ugly word back then. It's not like it is now. Everybody wasn't getting divorced left and right back then. So she's saying she divorced, but she didn't want to tell Luke Cage she was divorced at the time, you know. So anyway, they basically telling how they met. They met in, I don't know, Harvard or wherever the hell they met. They got married young. They argue, fuss and fight all the time. They got divorced.
Dishes.
Yeah, threw dishes at each other, all stuff like that. So yeah, so she went to be a nurse and Bill Foster went to go work for Tony Stark. And that's it. That's the last time they met. Meanwhile, Hank Pym got some trouble. He got big, and his growth serum wasn't working how it's supposed to, so he called Bill Foster and like helped him perfect the formula. Bill Foster did that, and when he did that, he kept the formula for himself, using himself. It became the Black Goliath. And that's what he is right now. So yeah, but he don't know how to shrink, so he just stuck at 15 feet, you know. So the thing is, Bill Foster knows how to fix himself, but he needs the money to do it. That's why he don't want to call Hank Pym. He want to call Tony Stark. He wants to do it on his own. But the thing is, he didn't have any money, so that's why he joined the circus to get money to basically complete the serum so he can shrink himself. And the reason she didn't tell Luke Cage what was going on because Luke Cage is an ex-convict. And since Bill Foster has all these ties with the Avengers, like Tony Stark and Hank Pym, if they find out that an ex-con is even around here, the Avengers are going to be on your ass. She's like, okay, well, that kind of makes sense. But still, why didn't you at least tell me you were leaving? I guess when you get back with your husband, all your side dudes, you just leave them alone, stuff like that. She's like, nah, don't be like that. Because I think I'm still in love with my husband. And that's when, get your hands off my wife. You know, and that's when Black Goliath shows up and he's ready to beat some ass. Like, if you get your hands on my wife right now, we're going to have some problems. He's like, your wife is my woman. Let's go. You know, so they just start fighting. And basically just like, you know, punches him in the gut, flattens him. But, you know, Bill Foster is just like, look, you don't know who I am, and just slaps him away like a fly. He's like, so he don't know who Luke Cage is, so he just grabs him, tosses him across the room, throws him some shit. He's just like, nah, stay down before I like really fuck you up. And that's when Luke Cage is like, you must don't know who I am. So that's when he cocked back and punches him in the shin, you know, takes him out. So that's just going back and forth. Other shit, this back side story I don't care about. Move on past that. Back then, Claire's just like, no, guys, don't fight over me. She's not real convincing about it, but yeah. So he grabs, like one of the nets the trapeze artist used, thinking that would trap Luke Cage. Luke Cage just goes through that shit like it's nothing, punches Black Goliath in the face, and then he falls 15 feet to the ground because that's how he was. Boom, hits the ground, and he grabs the stuff and starts to smack him in the face, stuff like that. So basically kind of like evenly matched right now. But before they can finish the match, that's when they both get, hypnotized by the ringmaster, because those two trapeze artists that he saved, they work for the Circus of Crime. Some old Daredevil / Hawkeye / Avenger / whatever villains, to be continued. Yeah. So that's the story. The first appearance of Black Goliath. And he really didn't have too many appearances past that. Like I said, I think he teamed up with like the Thing for like tag team wrestling duos. And that was it. That's pretty much it. So he wasn't really a big thing. That's pretty much it. Yeah. I think that's why I did Kane last week. But yeah, it's still a cool story. Just want to give you old throwback. So if you want to know about who is Black Goliath, that's Black Goliath. So yeah. Anything else we got to talk about? I'm booked out. That's all I got.
Yeah, so am I. I'm booked out.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, we got some listeners this week. Appreciate y'all, everybody jumping in. Like I said, if you listen this long, definitely like, share, subscribe. Just listening and watching actually help us out in the algorithm. It'll push us further in there.
And go check out Outright Geekery. That's our parent company or something.
Are we still there?
I think, yeah, they push our shit. So that's Gomer's shit and what are they called? Comicast? Not Comicast.
Yeah, I don't think Comicast is even a thing anymore.
No. What do they call it? Disc Geeks and Comics.
Didn't Hulk take down Ant-Man? Did Hulk take down Ant-Man? I don't think so.
He should.
I think he did. He probably did. I don't know. Probably one of those throwaway books. By going at his knees. Yes. You talk about in that cartoon movie. Yes. He like punched him in his knees and dropped him. Yeah. Black Panther did the same thing too in one of those cartoons. But yeah. Basically that's like the easiest way to take down Giant Man. See, that's why y'all saying Thanos could take him out. No, Thanos would just hit him in the knees. That's it. So who else we got? I think I found.
That's random. Is he talking about that fucking X-Men book?
The X-Men book. Yeah, that's the thing. That they really turn Emma Frost into some kind of like dominatrix. Yeah. Because she got like a sex dungeon down there. She like hides mutants down there and shit. So yeah. The X-Men are weird. That's all I gotta say. Yeah, that's all we got. Like I said, next week will be March. We'll be done with Black History Month. We will now be in whatever March is. I don't know. I'm pretty sure somebody will claim that month. Yeah. St. Patty's Day. Yeah. Everybody will be Irish then.
We'll do Daredevil comics all month.
Who else is Irish? Somebody else is Irish. Banshee. We do a Banshee X-Men book. So yeah.
There you go. Okay.
I do a Silver Banshee Superman book. We'll find something to do. Appreciate everybody listening. Like I said, until then, this is Leroy.
This is Eli.
We'll talk to you guys next week. Same bullet time, same bullet channel.